We've got officers shutting down locations. We have emergency response unit officers that are going to be trying to get the suspect safely into custody. We have negotiators. We obviously have our helicopter behind me.
Police officers with guns drawn have been outside a Richmond Hill home for hours. Inside, a suspect, they say, shot at an officer. It started as a simple traffic stop and escalated quickly. Now, more than 7 hours later, York Region Police are still trying to negotiate with the man who they believe is armed. Lisa Shing is live from the scene for us tonight with the very latest. Lisa.
Well, Dwight, police here have surrounded and cordoned off quite a few blocks here in this neighborhood. There's a lot of resources here as well, and for the better part of the day, the K9 unit is here. They have tactical units, as well as a helicopter that's been flying around for the better part of the day. The man is still inside the house, just a block down there. Police have been trying to get him out peacefully, to surrender peacefully for a large part of the afternoon, for hours now, in fact, but they do tell me that they're taking their time because they don't believe anyone is in the house with him. York Regional Police training their guns and surrounding a house in Richmond Hill for much of the day. K9 units, tactical teams, negotiators, and helicopters at the scene. It all started around the corner at this gas station nearby around 10:30 this morning. An officer made a routine traffic stop here. The lone driver started shooting at the officer with what police believe was a handgun.
I just hear a bunch of loud bangs. To be honest, I wasn't sure what it was, but I look outside. I see a unmarked police car pull up right in front of the shop. He's holding an assault rifle, and then I see this green or beigeish, greenish SUV pull out of the gas station, just speeding down the road.
Police say the suspect fired at and damaged several other cars in the process.
Fortunately, the officer was not injured, and fortunately, there were no injuries to anyone else in the community.
Police don't know if the suspect was injured.
For something like this, where we do have a suspect who was willing to actually fire shots in the middle of the day in a very busy, crowded area, that's a very dangerous and concerning type of situation.
The man drove to this house and barricaded himself alone inside. Police could not say whether he lives there. They evacuated some houses nearby. One resident we spoke with by phone saw police move in.
And then there's a few men right in the house in front of us. So I assume that they're looking at a house from different angles. My dog has been freaking out. She's whining and stuff and pacing because she knows something's wrong, right? And then my boyfriend and I were just kind of observing. I am in shock that it was right near my house, that I have such a clear view of it.
So at this point, as you can see, still quite a lot of action in this neighborhood as it's starting to get dark already. A short while ago, an ambulance unit actually just pulled up to that house. So we don't really know when the situation will wrap up. So we'll continue to monitor the situation. But what I can tell you, Dwight, is that the Special Investigations Unit is looking into this. The SIU, it's called in when police are involved in any situation that's serious, including death or serious injuries.
Thank you for the update, Lisa. And a man is dead after an overnight shooting in Etobicoke. It happened at an apartment parking lot near Burnham Thorpe Road in the West Mall. Homicide detectives are now trying to piece together exactly what happened. Kelda Ewan has more.
Police cars remain lined outside this high-rise on Eva Road hours after the shooting.
You wouldn't expect it from this area at all. It's a quiet area. It's a nice area.
Bernie Cheeseman lives on the 27th floor. He was sound asleep when shots rang out just before 1 a.m.
Like a little bit of noise, rolled over, went back to sleep.
He and other residents shocked to hear a fatal shooting took place right by where they live.
It's really scary, and I'm really angry coming home to this because you hear about it all the time, but it's never your home.
The victim, who is believed to be in his 20s, was found in the parking lot way back there beside the building. Police say there were reports of machine gun fire as well as a black car chasing a white car during the shooting.
There you can see like a strip of cones, maybe like 50 cones. So for sure it was semi-automatic or somewhat of gunfire anyways.
Sergeant Alan Bartlett says they hope video surveillance will help.
No suspect description at this time, no. The indications are that whoever was involved in this shooting may have left the area in a vehicle.
Saliha Nahadi works for a crisis response program with the city. She came to assist and support the residents. She says while gun violence remains a major problem in Toronto, it's still a safe city.
There are a lot of engagement is happening. I think our violence compared to other countries, especially when you compare with the North, is much lesser because of so much of support is being mobilized and so many partners are working.
Residents here are divided.
You just don't know. You know, are you going to be under fire just for being out here with your dogs, right? It's like people get caught in the gunfire now, just innocently.
It was an isolated incident. It's not like it happens every day. It's not like you see bad people around here or whatever, so I don't see it being an issue in this area at all.
Police have not released the victim's identity. They are appealing for witnesses to come forward. Kelda Yoon, CBC News, Toronto.
Police have identified the victim and the accused in that deadly Christmas Day attack in Brampton that was caught on camera. And a warning, you may find some of the video disturbing. Now, it appears to show a driver and a man arguing near Sandalwood Parkway and Bramalea Road just before 11 in the evening. The driver then backs up, turns, and drives towards the man, hitting him before speeding away. The victim, 51-year-old Balvinder Baines, was rushed to hospital where he died. A 53-year-old man from Brampton, Amarjeet Lamba, is in custody. He is now facing a second-degree murder charge. Hamilton police have released a list of their top 10 ridiculous 911 calls for 2019, making the cut requests for help changing a bad carpet, mice in an apartment, and help calling a taxi. Hamilton officers say they dealt with about 64,000 non-emergency 911 calls this year. They are reminding residents the line is only for real emergencies, not for calls like this.
Hello. I just found a black spider in the basement. I'm at XXX Road. I don't know what kind of spider it is, but there's a black bag and I don't know what's in it.
I need cigarettes. Anything else we can get you? Mints, bottle of water?
Hi, actually. I need help because I lost my keys. It's a small drain and it's under the drain. I don't know what to do in this situation.
I got a problem with my TV. It's an emergency. I put my TV on, it goes on, then I can't see anything. There's a game on that I want to see. On, it goes on, then I can't see anything. There's a game on that I want to see. Really?
Yeah, really? As the season of giving and overeating begins to wind down, cybersecurity experts are warning about oversharing. They say people may be giving up too much information on social media posts or automatically from their devices. And as Matthew Kupfer tells us, that could be a gift to fraudsters.
Your first line of defense may be all too easy to forget.
Passwords, passwords, passwords.
Experts say you should make your passwords tough to crack, at least 15 characters mixing special characters, numbers, upper and lowercase letters. Don't reuse them across accounts and devices. One way to simplify your life is using password management software that generates and remembers passwords for you.
This helps increase your safety by reducing the risk if one of those services, whether that's an application or your banking site or something else, if one of those is hacked, your password is not reusable because it was unique to that one location.
The next big piece of advice is to avoid oversharing on social media.
We tend to think that just sharing our location or sharing a little bit of information as to where we live or who we are, our names or date of birth, for example, just those little pieces on their own are not harmful. But put together, the aggregate of that information could reveal quite a bit about you, and that kind of information can be used against you.
Sergeant Jamie Ritchie with Ottawa Police says fraudsters can use that information to hijack your cell phone account.
People are calling, getting enough information about you to call your cell phone company to say that you want to cancel your service and take your cell phone number to a different company. And as we know, a lot of our online accounts, you can reset the password by your cell phone number.
If you happen to get a new device this holiday season, the Canadian Centre for Cybersecurity recommends making sure your home network is secure, avoiding public Wi-Fi, and keep track of what it records and transmits about you.
Make them yours. Take off all the apps that you're not using. Turn off any of the functionalities that you don't use, things like geolocation.
Cybersecurity experts recommend you think of protecting yourself in terms of layers, as new devices allow you to use biometrics and facial recognition to log in. Ottawa police say there are red flags to look out for when you're communicating. Ottawa police say there are red flags to look out for when you're communicating with people over the telephone. If they put on time pressure or ask for payment in Bitcoin, with money transfers, or using gift cards, chances are they aren't legitimate. Police say the most important thing is to be aware and keep track of who you're sharing your information with. Matthew Kupfer, CBC News, Ottawa.
Ryan Snowden joins us now with a look at our weather. And Ryan, double digits here in December. The only snow we're seeing, buddy, are the snowflakes on my tie.
And a fine-looking tie, but yeah, that's the only place to find them. I mean, we've got double digits today from Peterborough right down to Windsor. And the only real warmth where we didn't see the warmth today was right through the Ottawa Valley. And as a result, we had those fog advisories that are still in place. That's going to be a tough drive if you're heading in and around the Ottawa Valley. If you're on the roads tonight, extreme caution. The result, we had those fog advisories that are still in place. That's going to be a tough drive if you're heading in and around the Ottawa Valley. If you're on the roads tonight, extreme caution. The fog does continue right through the evening hours, and then will finally start to dissipate as we roll through tonight as that latest low moves out. High pressure moving in. We've got a great travel day for tomorrow across the province. Not so much for Sunday. Our next storm brewing Sunday into Monday. Let's time it out for you. Isolated flurry, maybe even some patchy freezing drizzle from the Muskokas across to the Ottawa Valley tonight. But Saturday, as I said, is smooth sailing. High pressure domination, lots of sunshine for Saturday. That next storm system moving in throughout the day on Sunday. Now, early Sunday, okay for much of the region. Rain tracking into the southwest throughout the morning. Into the GTA by around lunchtime. Niagara Escarpment may see some freezing rain mixing in from the get-go here, but it is mainly north and east of Toronto where we're talking about snow, ice pellets, and yes, significant freezing rain setting up for Sunday afternoon, Sunday night, and throughout the day on Monday, especially out towards the Ottawa region where this looks to linger through much of the day on Monday. Big warm up in behind, and so yes, back into potentially some double digits in the southwest. But that special weather statement is in effect for this possibility of a significant freezing rain event. Again, beginning Sunday around lunchtime, continuing right throughout the day on Monday. So your travel outlook for the next three for Windsor in the southwest, and in fact all across the region for tomorrow, looking at a fine Saturday. That messy mix moves in with a warm up for the southwest on Sunday. Not so warm, just a messy mix of snow, ice, and freezing rain for Sunday into Monday. Dwight, stay tuned for the forecast. To the forecast, as it's going to be some dicey driving conditions later half of the weekend.
Certainly seems that way. Have a good weekend, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you.
The Blue Jays welcome a new pitcher today. Hyunjin Ryu spoke to reporters just a short time ago. Our Greg Ross is live inside Rogers Center. And Greg, an exciting addition for our Jays.
Absolutely, and this is making it official. The Blue Jays putting pen to paper on a brand new 4-year, $80 million U.S. contract with Hyunjin Ryu. Maybe the most significant free agent signing, at least one of them, in the history of this franchise. Today, Ryu facing the media, getting his brand new Blue Jays jersey with his number 99 on the back of it. And he addressed the media. He talked about the fact that this was only his second time ever in the city of Toronto. He said one thing he notices about the city is the fact that it's very clean here. He says one of the reasons that he chose to come to the Blue Jays is because they were the first team to pursue him. He said they continued to pursue him, and that's why he decided to make this his home for the next 4 years. So yes, he is going to be the Blue Jays starter. What they get in Ryu is they get a guy who won 14 games for the Los Angeles Dodgers last season. He had the best ERA in Major League Baseball last season. They also get a guy that's had some injury problems, so there is some risk involved here, but he was pretty excited about coming to Toronto and not just playing for the city, but playing for Canada. And he actually addressed the media in English. He doesn't speak English very well, but here's what he had to say.
Hello, Canada. Bonjour. First of all, special thanks to Edward Rogers, Lars, Mark, Scott, my family, and Blue Jays fans. I am happy to be here, and I'm gonna make Toronto Blue Jays proud. Thank you.
And if he can do what he did last year for the Los Angeles Dodgers, I'm sure people in this city would be very proud. This team desperately in need of some starting pitcher, and he could provide that. Just another big story for this city when it comes to sports. You think about the year that was in 2019. Let's take a look back at some of the other big stories from the city of Toronto and Canada the last year.
Kawhi up top, looks at the clock, turns the corner for the win!
It will go down as one of the greatest years for sports in Toronto's history. And no story captured the imagination of the city, or the country for that matter, than the Raptors' incredible run to their first NBA title in franchise history.
114 to 110. Curry lets it fly. Canada, the NBA title is yours.
The Raptors needed just 6 games to dethrone the Golden State Warriors in the NBA Final.
I feel like a champ, baby. I'm a champ now, man.
While the champagne flowed in the Raptors locker room, Raptors fans took to the streets in downtown Toronto to celebrate. Just a few days later, millions of fans took to the streets again, this time for a championship parade.
Enjoy this moment, and have fun with it.
Little did we know there would be more titles to come in 2019.
And Gretzky continues to roll. Up 3-1, up a break on Serena Williams.
With one title already under her belt, 19-year-old Bianca Andreescu of Mississauga would make history at the Rogers Cup in Toronto.
The match is over.
Andreescu would become the first Canadian to win on home soil in 50 years after Serena Williams was forced to withdraw because of injury.
From Canada, Bianca Andreescu.
The two would meet again less than a month later, this time on Serena's home turf at the U.S. Open. And this time, Andreescu would beat Williams on the court. Andreescu becoming the first Canadian to win a Grand Slam title.
This young lady has it all.
The news wasn't all good on the Toronto sports scene after the Leafs were eliminated in the first round of the NHL playoffs for the 3rd straight year in April. Leafs were eliminated in the first round of the NHL playoffs for the 3rd straight year in April.
Here's Malkin, he shoots, he scores!
They struggled out of the gates to start the 2019-2020 season, and that led to the firing of head coach Mike Babcock.
Certainly from a player's perspective, you could see the frustration in their eyes.
Just some of the big stories. There were many more, Dwight. Let's not forget Toronto FC getting to the MLS Cup final for the 3rd time in 4 years. The Toronto Wolfpack getting to the Super League. A big, big year for Toronto sports.
Yeah, it really was. We had a great year, except for those Leafs, but as always this season. Thank you, Greg.
Very shocked that I made it out of 50,000 kids.
Many hockey players want to be like Wayne Gretzky, but this 12-year-old from Essex County was actually cast to be him. He plays the great one in a new Tim Hortons commercial. His story when we come back.
The weather update is brought to you by Train, the most reliable heating and cooling brand. It's hard to stop a train.
A new Tim Hortons commercial doesn't advertise donuts, coffee, or muffins. It goes straight for the heartstrings.
Best wishes, Tim Horton.
It tells the story of a young Wayne Gretzky
Tim Horton.
It tells the story of a young Wayne Gretzky getting an autograph from the real Tim Horton back in the 60s. The ad also recreated scenes of the great one practicing on a backyard rink, skating through opponents at the arena, and riding a bus to games. As Amy Dodge tells us, one of the boys playing the role of Gretzky had a few hurdles he had to overcome.
12-year-old Tyler Vriesma is skating on a frozen pond at his family's farm. Stick in hand, his light blonde hair flaps behind him. Tyler says he never thought he would be chosen for the commercial.
Shock in that I made the commercial. Very shocked that I made it out of 50,000 kids.
Well, he looked the part. There was a major obstacle Tyler had to overcome. He plays right-handed. Gretzky is left. So Tyler started practicing at his friend's house for several hours. He was impressing everyone, even his hockey coach.
I was shocked that it was something he was able to pull off, to be honest, and it was something that they saw that was acceptable. The comfort level he had going from right-handed to left-handed.
Side-by-side photos show a stark resemblance of Tyler and the Great One. But while the 12-year-old has only seen a few Wayne Gretzky highlight videos on YouTube, this was an experience that seems to mean more to his coach.
A real honor, I would say, that he doesn't really understand how special it is, because Wayne Gretzky was the influence he is on every kid, especially me as a kid and everyone in my era, right? He was the Great One.
With playing the part came a vintage uniform and skates. That means having to relearn how to skate.
The skates were weird. I couldn't even stand on them at first.
Tyler is seen for only a few seconds weaving through players on the ice wearing the red sweater, replicating when Gretzky played with the Vaughan Nationals. Tyler has already used the $750 he pocketed from the 90-second commercial to buy mini sticks and balls for kids at Ronald McDonald House in Windsor and London, something he said he did just because he thought it was a nice thing to do. Amy Dodge, CBC News, Essex County.
Started out just asking for donations, and we were overwhelmed with the support from the community.
New moms around Toronto are getting a helping hand thanks to this North York woman, her story, and what pushed her to start the charity coming up. A one-of-its-kind Toronto organization is offering a helping hand to moms in need. It was started by a North York woman, and as Shannon Martin shows us, she's now managed to help more than 1,000 families.
It's delivery day. Things once treasured, now ready to be passed on and loved again. This mighty team of volunteers gets right to work. It's all still a little surreal for Gwen Broda.
You never expect where things are going to take you.
Just a few years ago, she and her family were facing one of their toughest times.
I was on my third mat leave with my son, and I had not got paid for 2 of my mat leaves because I didn't work enough hours, so I didn't get the EI. And I was really angry.
She and her partner managed to make it through, but Broda realized many other moms may not be as fortunate. So she says she turned her anger